The NASCAR Xfinity Series heads to Phoenix International Raceway, and we see a pretty chill NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Phoenix. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. I just got done watching United Reynolds 200 from Phoenix International Raceway. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into the review. So, before the green flag drop, a bunch of drivers would have to go to the rear of the field. Sam Mayer, Ryan Vargas, Justin Allgaier, Josh Berry, and Stephen Parsons would all have to go to the rear for unapproved adjustments. And before the green flag drop, this is where most of the craziness happened. Trevor Bain, who actually won the pole for today's race and had a really, really fast car, he could not get his engine fired because basically the kill switch in the steering wheel was basically triggering the kill switch, so they had to go change the steering wheel. Luckily, they were able to fix that. Other driver had issues, Anthony Alfredo, who didn't even get to qualify, didn't even get to practice, and would be stuck on the grid and would have to go to the rear of the field. Unfortunately, he would go to behind the wall. So on the start of the race, you have Trevor Bain on the outside and Noah Gragson on the inside, and Trevor Bain was able to get the race lead. Then we see Sheldon Creed on lap 6 of the race. He actually got into the outside wall and fell back, but he's able to keep going, has some damage, but was able to keep going. And we kept going for a while with Trevor Bain having race lead over guys like Brandon Jones and Noah Gragson. And then the first caution race came out on lap 22 for Riley Herbst, who basically had a brake pedal basically went to the floor, and he basically got into the outside wall really, really hard. I saw some people making fun of Riley Herbst, but in all seriousness, in all honesty, when the brake pedal fails and it goes to the floor, you can't really blame the driver for that, so I'm not going to put any blame on Riley Herbst for that. And I feel bad for Riley in this situation because he really wasn't having a great day to begin with. He was running 13th. He could have improved, but wasn't really having a great start to begin with. So he was going to have to improve from that, and unfortunately would fall out of this race. And then all the leaders would stay off pit road. We basically stayed under caution for a very long time. And then on the race start, Trevor Bain leading on the outside and Noah Gragson on the inside. Trevor Bain got really, really loose off the corner, and Noah Gragson was able to get the race lead. And then Noah Gragson started falling off here just a second, and then Trevor Bain started making a really, really good move to the inside, and Trevor Bain actually got the lead. But then Noah Gragson got the lead back, and it was a really, really good battle here at the end of stage 1 between both Trevor Bain and Noah Gragson. And coming off into turn number 4, they both come off the corner side by side, coming to the finish line, and Trevor Bain holds off Noah Gragson to win stage number 1 here at Phoenix. And then we saw all the leaders come down pit road. Brandon Jones basically Brandon Jones actually went a race off the road. Trevor Bain's pit crew cost him multiple times in this race. We'll talk more about that later in this race view, but Trevor Bain would drop all the way back to 4th. Meanwhile, Sam Mayer and Brandon Brown would get speeding penalties on the pit stop. So on the restart, Brandon Jones leading on the outside with Noah Gragson on the inside. And I think Brandon Jones got the lead for a second. And then on that restart, we see basically the last major caution of this race for Ty Gibbs, who got spun off in contact from Josh Berry, who basically got very loose off of the corner and came up into Ty Gibbs multiple times, and Josh Berry got into him. That's on Josh Berry. Josh Berry was the one who made contact with Ty Gibbs and brought out the caution race. I'm going to blame Josh Berry for that one. It's not the first time Josh Berry has made a mistake this year. He's got to learn to tone that aggression down. Josh is a great driver, don't get me wrong, but that was on Josh. That was a little bit frustrating. And then we see Ty Gibbs come down pit road to get scuffs. And then back on the restart, we see Noah Gragson lead from the outside and Brandon Jones on the inside. And Brandon Jones actually gets the race lead for a little bit. And then Noah Gragson really starts coming in. And Noah Gragson is able to get around Brandon Jones for the race lead. And Noah Gragson pulls away and wins stage number 2. Meanwhile, a really good battle between Justin Allgaier and Brandon Jones, where Justin Allgaier is able to get second. And the leaders would come down pit road with Justin Allgaier actually leading the race off at pit road. And Trevor Bain lost a ton of spots on pit road once again for the pit crew. And then unfortunately, Sam Mayer once again will get a speeding penalty. And Trevor Bain, who had one of the fastest cars on the long run, he gets a speeding penalty also on pit road. So on the restart, Justin Allgaier leading on the outside and Brandon Jones on the inside. And Justin Allgaier leads going turn number 1 and going actually turn number 3, but overdrives the corner and nearly gets into the outside wall and drops a ton of spots back, meaning Brandon Jones has race lead. Meanwhile, a few laps later, John Hunter Nemechek, who's driving a 26 car for Sam Hunt Racing, he's able to get around Brandon Jones, is able to get the race lead, and really would lead the next portion of this race. But then eventually Noah Gragson gets around him and takes the race lead, and then he sends off and starts really, really driving away. We see some comer goes throughout the field. Trevor Bain already gotten up to about 10th position with around 50 laps to go and gets around Ty Gibbs and starts making his way up to the front. And then green flag pit stops that start taking place on lap 163 of this race would also basically bring the cars down pit road. And then Justin Allgaier and Sam Mayer would both get penalties. First for Justin Allgaier pitted for running over equipment and Sam Mayer for speeding. And then Sam Mayer, once again, he would get another penalty for basically another speeding penalty and would lose another ton of positions. And once green flag pit stops happened, Brandon Jones had pitted a few laps earlier than Noah Gragson. He had the race lead by about 2 seconds. But because Noah Gragson had fresher tires, he really started making up a ton of ground. And with around 18 laps to go, they start battling each other for the race lead and for the race, basically battling for the race lead and for the race win. We see basically Jeb Burton, of course, give a shot to Brandon Jones, and then Noah Gragson is able to get around Brandon Jones after that great battle, and he's able to take the race lead. Then we see Kaz Grala get into the outside wall. He had a flat tire, came down the road, was able to keep going. And then Noah Gragson starts to basically set his sights on getting to victory. And coming off the corner here at Phoenix International Raceway, Noah Gragson finally, after having really strong start to the year, he comes off the corner and wins here at Phoenix International Raceway, picking up his first win of the 2022 season. Noah Gragson had the best car all day. That 9 car was really, really fast in practice. It was really, really fast in qualifying. And he knew that 9 car was ultimately going to be a contender in this race. And he absolutely deserves this victory. He led over 100 laps in this race. And once he got the lead, he was very, very difficult to pass. So Noah Gragson, like I said, picks up his first victory of the 2022 season. And continues like that really, like I said, that really hot streak. Noah Gragson has finished no worse than third to start this year and has a pretty big points lead after winning both stages in this race. Well, actually winning one stage in the race, but he's been so strong to start this year. And Noah Gragson continues a really strong start. So huge congratulations to Noah Gragson. I think Noah Gragson definitely is a championship contender, and I think he's got a shot to win the championship and continues. He's been the best car so far this year of all the points, guys. He wins the race. Congratulations to him. So now let's take a look at results. So Noah Gragson picks up the victory. Brandon Jones finished second. Very strong run for Brandon Jones today. Brandon Jones never really ran outside of third or fourth place, but today that 19 car was extremely fast on the long run. Really was a big contender. A good points day after basically having 2 not-so-great races the last couple weeks in Vegas at Auto Club. They needed that good run. Great run for Brandon Jones. He's usually really good here. Good run for him. Josh Berry finishes third. Josh Berry ran top 10 most of the race now and basically top 5 near the end. Now, of course, he had that controversy with Ty Gibbs, but a very solid top 5 run regardless. Good run for Josh Berry in third position. Trevor Bain finishes fourth, despite the fact that he had a speeding penalty, bounced back to a top 5 run. I think Trevor Bain could have given Noah Gragson a run for his money had he had not gotten that speeding penalty. But Trevor Bain with another strong run, he's going to race later and had another race to a scheduled race at Atlanta. A very strong run once again for Trevor Bain. He finished fourth. He's really shown up once again back in the series, and he's proving that he absolutely deserves to be in that car. John Nemechek finishes fifth. I think all around this is the best performance I've seen from Sam Hunt Racing. Yes, he got that top 5 finish at Richmond, but that was because he had fresh tires. John Nemechek was in the top 5 pretty much all the race, and the first time in the team's history, they led laps. So he deserves that top 5 finish. Great to see John Nemechek back in that car, and I hope he gets more starts in that 26 car and runs a majority of these races, because I think he's a driver that should be driving in the Xfinity full-time right now, but a great run regardless in 5th place. Ty Gibbs finished 6th. Ty Gibbs' car really was never the same after his issues, but still a solid top 10 regardless. Definitely up there in points, loses a ton of ground on the regular season championship, but a 6th place run regardless for Ty Gibbs. Bounced back to a top 10 finish. AJ Allmendinger finished 7th. I'm a little surprised AJ struggled. I know last time we were here at Phoenix, he was pretty bad here, but honestly, I expected AJ to be a little better, and that team really never showed speed. But they get another top 10, continues the top 10 streak. Good run regardless. He finishes in 7th. Daniel Hemrick finishes 8th. Once again, I think it's just a college issue in general. He got an 8th place run. Solid top 10. It's really all you can ask from the college boys. He gets 8th, but honestly, never really ran inside. He was never really higher than 8th most of the day, but he gets a top 10 regardless. Landon Castle finished 9th. Solid top 10 run for him. Ran top 10 all day. He was up at 6th or 5th at one point, so he ran in the top 10 pretty much all race. Needed a good run today and gets another very solid run. Finishes in the top 10 once again. And Justin Allgaier, after his issues, he bounced back to a 10th place finish. I think Justin Allgaier had one of the fastest cars, but unfortunately his car started falling off, and then he got that penalty for running over equipment. He gets 10th, though, regardless. Ryan Sieg finished 11th. I will say Ryan Sieg qualified well and ran really well. Ran inside the top 10, top 15 pretty much all race long. Good run from that 11th. He was the first car one lap down, but regardless, good run for him. He finishes in 11th. Jeb Burton finishes 12th, ran top 15 most of the day. Good run for Iron Motorsports 2017. They really need those owners' points and a good run for them in today's race. Brandon Brown finishes 13th. Again, another good run for that team. They ran top 15. They were never really mentioned in this race besides the speeding penalty, but they get a top 15 run. Good run in 13th place. Sheldon Creed finished 14th. I'm going to say this, RCR is not as good as I thought they were going to be. They've been a team that's been extremely disappointing. I don't know if it's just because they've not been historically that great here at Phoenix Raceway, but I'm then disappointed in this team, and Sheldon Creed is still not scored a single stage point. They've not had a good start to the year. They need to bounce back. I need to see Sheldon Creed get a win here and contend a little more than he has. Brett Moffitt finishes 15th, solid top 15 run from the Our Motorsports camp. Some good speed, top 15 for Brett Moffitt. Ryan Ellis, once again, with another top 20 finish in 16th place. They never really mentioned him on the broadcast except during qualifying where he really wasn't running that well. But he gets 16th place finish regardless. Good run for him. Austin Hill finished his 17th again. No speed out of that 21 camp. They were not fast at all. I was very disappointed in Austin Hill today. He barely finished inside the top 20. Jeremy Clance finishes in 18th. Alex Abate finishes 19th. Bailey Curry finishes 20th. I want to give a big shout out to Bailey Curry, not just because of Ghost on the car and Eric Issa basically having out of the groove on the car, but that 14 ran in the top 20 all race. They qualified really, really well in the top 20, and they ran extremely well. I think they qualified 13th today, and they were really, really good in this race. We're us high up at about 16th or 17th at points, but a top 20 for the team, and Bailey Curry, good run for them, and I love that Ghost car, by the way. Good run for them. Seven Parsons finishes 21st. Sam Mayer, after his issues, he finishes in 22nd. Mason Massey finished 23rd. My Sider, ouch for the Jordan Anderson team. Expecting more out of that team this year. He finishes in 24th. J.J. Lee finishes in 25th. Nicholas Sanchez, making his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut, really was never a contender, but I really wasn't expecting that. But top 30 run for him. He finishes in 26th. Joe Graff Jr. finishes in 27th. Thank God dang, he is terrible in qualifying. Jay Beer finishes 28th. Ryan Vargas finished 29th. Again, he finished the race, but I want to see Ryan do a little bit better. But again, he's not in the best car, but I like Ryan. It sucks what's happened for him. Good, at least he got to finish the race. Kyle Rutherford finishes in 30th. David Starr finishes 31st after his qualifying issues earlier today. Kyle C finishes 32nd. Kaz Groh, after having a flat tire, finishes 33rd. Tough break for that 45 team. Jeffrey Earnhardt finishes 34th. Josh Williams finishes in 35th. Parker Retzlaff, who qualified extremely well in today's race, he unfortunately went to the garage due basically having a fuel pump problem. And he really was fast in the beginning, but unfortunately fell back. But it's a good, regardless of Parker Retzlaff getting some experience. He probably wanted to clean all the laps. Fortunate issues over around 30 laps to go. Anthony Alfredo finishes 37th after his issues. And Riley Herbst, after his crash, finishes in 38th and in last place. So now let's go over and talk about the overall race and give you my score of today's race. This race is all right, in my opinion. It raced in the first half of the race I thought was really, really good. You had some good battles for the lead and some good contenders. And I thought a little bit past halfway, the race was really, really good. But then the race kind of got a little bit stale at points. I think there were also good battles for the field, don't get me wrong. But there really wasn't much that happened in the second half of the race. It's kind of your traditional Phoenix race. I think Phoenix can put on some good racing. I think the trash compound definitely helped with the compound they used, the resin compound they used, was really, really good on this race. I think it put on a good show. That being said, though, it wasn't the most eventful race, probably the least eventful race, and I will say of all the big-time races we had, not counting the wheels, I will say it's probably been the worst race I've seen so far this year. That doesn't mean the race is horrendous. It was a decent race. It's just probably the worst race I've seen so far this year. So overall, my score for today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race, I'm going to overall give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was an okay race. I wish there was a little more in the end of the day, but it's good to see that Noah Gragson picks up his first victory this season. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. So, anyway, that's today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Phoenix International Raceway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on page as well. Let's go below over that and comment your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts about today's Xfinity Series race today? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the console, and congratulate Noah Gragson on picking up his first victory of 2022. Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow I've got 2 videos coming on the channel. We've got the starting grid video for the Phoenix race, and we also got the Cup Series race right after the race concludes. Check that out on the channel if you are new. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some great, awesome NASCAR and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.